What's up everybody, Tony here with High Tech Check, and today we're going to be taking a look at the AZDOME triple channel dash cam. This is the M550. You can pick this up off Amazon right now. I will be putting a link in the description in case you guys want to pick it up yourself. And if you guys like me and you want to support my channel, please use those links because it helps me keep purchasing products to do reviews for you guys. Now this is a 4K dash cam and it is somewhat modular, and when I say that, it does have an in-cabin camera that you can put on and remove if you don't want to use it. It's also got GPS. It can accommodate up to 128 gigabyte micro SD card. It has a built-in screen, but you can also use an app on your phone. It also uses capacitors instead of lithium batteries, and what that means for you is if you live in a climate where it's very extreme, maybe either really hot or really cold, the capacitors won't degrade like the lithium-ion batteries will, and they also won't swell and possibly explode. So these capacitors can work in about 160 degrees Fahrenheit all the way down to -4. It also has a parking monitor and a G-sensor which detects impact, so if you're not around your car while it's parked, it will start recording if it detects an impact. So I will be going over all of its features and I'm going to show you how everything works, but first let's go and see what you get inside the box. Okay, so it looks like we have our camera here. So here we have that little screen, our camera on the front, our little connection that's held on by magnets. We have our rear camera connection on the side here, as well as looks like a little speaker. On the other side we have our micro SD card slot and another connection. And then on the bottom we have all of our buttons. And then here we have our GPS, which is also the part that sticks onto your window. And then this part does move here. There's our connections with the magnets and then a connection on the side. Here's our micro SD card, 32 gigabytes. And here we have the in-cabin camera. Again, like I said, it is modular, so you don't have to connect it if you don't want to use it. And this camera does move around if you want it to. Then here we have a little tool with some pieces with some sticky adhesive on it so we can cable manage. Here we have our cigarette lighter connection, which is a mini USB. And here we have a rather long rear camera connection. Okay, we get some 3M adhesive with some screws. And then here is our camera and some cable. And here we have a little plastic sheet that we can put on our window. So if anything happens and we need to take the camera off, we can easily just take this off and not have to scrape off any of that 3M adhesive, which is nice. And here we get an extra sticky pad and our owner's manual. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the settings on here. As you can see, it has a pretty nice looking screen. It does have a little bit of a fisheye effect to it, but that's so it can capture everything in the front of your car. So let's go into the settings. As you heard, it does have a speaker and it also has a microphone as well, so it can record audio and play it back. Okay, so here we have movie, and basically what this allows us to do is to change the resolution. There's a couple different resolutions we can choose from. There's ultra high definition, quad high definition, and full high definition. I always keep it on the UHD because that's 4K. Another thing about the recording of this, if you just use this camera all by itself without the in-cabin and rear, it will do 4K. If you use this with the rear camera, it will do 4K and 1080p, but if you use this with the in-cabin only, you can do 2K and 1080p, and then if you use all three cameras, you can do 2K, 1080p, and 1080p. So if you want the highest resolution, either use it all by itself, or you can use it with the rear camera. Here we have loop recording. This allows us to change the video capture lengths from 1 minute, 3 minutes to 5 minutes, or turn it off. And basically what this will do is it'll keep recording over the oldest video, so you don't have to keep, worrying about is my SD card getting full or not. But they do recommend that you format the SD card every 30 days. But again, this will record over the oldest video if that video is not locked. And those locked videos are maybe say impacts or things like that, and those will not get overwritten. So I typically like to keep it on a 1 minute just to keep them not that long. The rear camera by default is turned off, so if you want to turn it on, you just have to go here and click OK to get that checked. Motion detection, you don't want to have this on while you're driving because it will confuse the camera. So motion detection is for when you have your car off and you're away from your car and you want the camera to detect if there's anybody around your car. But again, this will only work if you have the hardware kit. And then here we have time-lapse recording, and basically what that does is it takes one picture every 1 second, so it'll play back a very long period of time in a short amount of time. Here we have a record audio, which I would keep on, so it will record that audio. And here is the wide dynamic range. If you have a very bright or low light environment, I would turn that on because it would adjust to compensate for that. We have the frequency. I live in the US, so it's going to be on 60 Hertz. The G sensor, like I said before, it detects impacts. So if your car hits something or something hits your car, it will automatically lock that video so it won't get overridden in case you need it for, the police or insurance purposes. I like to keep mine on medium. But you'll have to play around with the sensitivity for what works for you. And then we have the exposure. If maybe it's too bright or too dark, you can always adjust that as well. And here we have the playback option if you want to watch recorded videos. Parking mode, again, this is to record video in case this detects an impact while you're away from your car. You can turn that on when you've parked your car. If your date and time setting, turn on your Wi-Fi for your app on your phone. You can have the watermark on for the date and time, speed, and GPS. I just have those all on. Your storage. Here we have the storage format warning, which will remind you every so many days. So you can go ahead and format that. It is set to 30 days right now. You can format your SD card, and you have your storage info. Here we have the language you can set. Then we have our system. You can set a fatigue driving reminder. So if you want to be reminded to take a break, you can turn that on. I always just have that off. You have your speed unit in kilometers or miles per hour. Change mine to miles per hour. The beep sound, which you hear now, you can turn on and off. Your screensaver, basically this will turn off the screen after a set amount of time, 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 5 minutes. I like to keep mine just on 1 minute. To your time zone, and then you can reset it to default settings, and you have your GPS info. And here we have what looks to be maybe our firmware. And then if you want to turn the screen off automatically, you just hit the power button very quickly to turn off the screen, and you can turn it back on with another press. Now if you want to shut off the whole device, you'll hold in the power button and it'll shut everything off. And then if you want to manually record or stop the recording, you just hit the OK button once, and it'll either stop or start the recording based on if it's on or off. Here at the bottom left hand corner, it shows you how fast you're going, your resolution setting, the amount of time you have left on the SD card to record, your date and time, Wi-Fi, and your battery. So again, like I said, this does use a capacitor, and it's not meant to be used without being plugged in. Basically what that's there for is if the power gets cut off, it has enough time to finish up its saving of the recording, and then it can shut off. Because if you abruptly took out the power, it might corrupt the SD card or you would lose your video. And that's pretty much it for the settings. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up on my car, and we'll take a look at what it can do. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you find a place you want to put your camera, make sure you clean it thoroughly with some glass cleaner or alcohol. Then make sure that it's dried. Once it's dried, we're going to go ahead and take our film, which is this. We're going to peel off the backing and then put the plastic piece against our glass, making sure that there are no bubbles. The way that I do that is kind of apply the top and then maybe get a credit card or something and kind of smooth it down as it goes. So to make it easier, what I'm going to do is install this upside down. It really doesn't matter because the square is always going to be in the middle. And I'm going to peel this down just enough to where I can kind of stick it where I need it. Then I'm going to use that credit card, like I said, to kind of smooth it down as I pull the rest of the backing off. And just kind of smooth it down with the credit card as you pull it off. That way there won't be too many bubbles if there are. So now once that's done, we're going to want to plug in our camera for placement. And we'll kind of just put it up here to try to line it up the best we can. I kind of want the camera to be in the middle of my windshield, so I'm probably going to place this off to the right a little more to try to get it in the middle as much as I can. Then we'll go ahead and peel off the sticky back here. And what you really want to do is make sure that the camera is level. You don't want to turn it too much to one side because then the picture is going to be off. So kind of make sure you have it level with the front of your car the best that you can. And then once you have that where you want it, just go ahead and kind of push the camera down, or actually just pull it off and then just push it on there really well for maybe like a minute so it sticks really good. Kind of push around all the corners to make sure that it's adhering. And you can even look on the outside of the window to see if the adhesive is stuck everywhere. And then we can connect our camera back up. Clips on there pretty well. It's definitely not going to fall off when the car is moving. And it looks like it's going to be as straight as it can be. Okay. So the camera does look really nice here. It's small and it's not in the way. I can still easily see everywhere that I need to. It doesn't obstruct my view. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect the cab camera so you can see what it looks like on the inside here. Your camera will restart if you happen to plug it in while it's turned on. And as you can see, it will show a little window to show you what's on the inside of the camera. So we'll kind of just push it over to the side here. It is a little stiff, so kind of try to use both hands. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So as you can see, again, it does show the inner cab camera, and in this mode it is only going to do the Quad HD, which is 2K, and the 1080p for the inside camera. In my car at least, it is plugged into the cigarette lighter. I don't have the hardwired kit, so when I turn off my car and I open my door, the camera does automatically shut off by itself. So now I'm going to go ahead and kind of turn on my car. And the camera does automatically turn on by itself. Now you do see those blinking lights, and basically what that is those are infrared LEDs to allow the in-cabin camera to record night vision inside your car. So if you have like Uber or something, you can clearly see what's going on inside the car. And also, as you can see, when you turn on your car, the camera also does start recording by itself. Now, one of the other really nice things is, even though it shows 3 cameras on the display, you can always change that to whichever one you want. We'll just short click the down arrow here. It'll change to just all the front camera. We'll press it again to show only the in-cabin camera, and then press it again to show the rear camera, and then once again to display all 3. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the application. This is going to be on my Apple iPhone 12. So we're going to go into the App Store. We're going to search AZDOME. There it is. We'll go ahead and get. Now what you're going to want to do on your dash cam here is we want to enable the Wi-Fi mode. So we'll go ahead and long press the down arrow button. Okay, so once we're in Wi-Fi mode, we'll go into our phone's connections. We'll go into our Wi-Fi. Then we want to make sure that we're connected to the M550 SSID. We'll put in the password that it shows on the screen. Then once we're connected there, we'll go back into our app. Then we'll click Add Device. It'll connect, and then it'll show you what the camera sees on the top portion of your screen here. Okay, so let's take a look at the app here. As you can see, the very first tab is the album tab. That's where you're going to find all of the recordings that are saved on the micro SD card that's in the camera itself. You can stop and start recording of the camera from here. You can mute and unmute the microphone. As you can see, we can switch our mode here. And all that seemed to do was to change the display from just being the front to the front and the rear. We can also switch our cameras here to the rear only or the front. And we can also change from the big view of the rear and then the small of the front. And then we can change the resolutions here. We can go from 4K 1080p to 2K 1080p to 1080p to 1080p, but I don't know why you would want to do that anyway, so I just keep it on 4K. We'll go ahead and go into our settings here. As you can see, you can change the photo size. We have it on the largest, which is 12 megapixel. Your video resolutions, your loop recording, pretty much all the settings you can set right on the camera you can do here. Motion detection, movie audio, date label, G sensor, automatic video, picture in picture, date time, the remaining space in your SD card, Wi-Fi name, password, default settings. So that's pretty nice. And we can also make this our whole screen as well. So this will be helpful if you need to see a larger video for, like I said, maybe for the police or something like that. You just need to stop the recording, and you can go into your device album here. And then here's all the videos. You can also click on any of these videos to watch them directly on your phone. So if you want to download the videos that are saved on the micro SD card that are in the dash cam directly onto your phone, we'll go into the album. It'll show you all the videos that are saved on the SD card under your videos. We can go ahead and hit select at the top right hand corner. We'll pick which video we would like. As you can see, it shows some I've already downloaded. So we'll select this one and hit download. And as you can see, it downloads pretty quickly. Once it's done, you will then be able to view the video whenever you need without having to be connected to the dash cam. Okay, so now that's complete. We'll go ahead and hit cancel. We can go back to our very main screen. We'll go down to album, go into our video, and as you can see, here's where all the videos you just downloaded are, and you can view them whenever you want. And if you want to take it back out of Wi-Fi mode, all you need to do is hold down the down arrow button again, and it'll disconnect and take you back into the camera. And here's a couple still images I took from the rear and front camera. Okay, so now we're just doing a little test drive so you guys can see what the 2K quality sounds like, as well as the in-cabin video. And you also get a little sample of what the audio quality sounds like if you needed to, say something or record audio into the camera. And this little sample here is showing you that the camera is good enough to pick up people's license plates if you need. Now here I know the in-cabin night vision doesn't really look that good, but I think it's because the LEDs are more bouncing off my rear view mirror versus actually illuminating the inside of the cabin. I think that if I would have moved the camera down a little more and given the infrared LEDs more of a chance to light up the inside cabin, the picture would definitely be a lot better. And as you can see here, with a little light from outside streetlights, the inside camera does look a lot better. So I think this is just installation problem on my part more than it is the camera itself. And then here I just wanted to show you what the camera would pick up in total darkness. And then here's a sample of what the time lapse looks like. This was about a 9-minute video initially, condensed into about 20 seconds. And here's a little sample of what the motion detection looks like. I made 3 different videos with the motion detection, but one of the videos, I guess I walked a little too quickly past the front of the car and it did not pick it up. But as you can see, it did pick me up the 2 other times. One where somebody kind of lingered in front of the car, and then the other one where I kind of walked a little bit further away so the camera had more time to pick me up, but it seems to do a good job of picking up motion. Now it will stop once it doesn't detect motion anymore, and when the front camera records motion, it records all of the cameras. So if anything's going on around your car, it'll pick that up too, but it only detects motion from the front camera. Another really cool feature that they offer you is this GPS player, and basically what this does is it shows all the information that is embedded in this video, such as your heading, where exactly you were going on the map here as it's shown in the pink line. It shows how fast you were going, it shows your heading, it shows any hard braking, any bumps or anything like that shown by these little spikes here. So there's a lot of good information that can be shown, especially if you need this for insurance purposes because you got into an accident or something like that. This video player is available for Mac and Windows. I will be putting a link in the description for that as well. So now the question I'm sure you're all asking me, would I recommend this dash cam? And I definitely would say yes. It's actually going to replace my old dash cam that I had because I think it is that good. The camera itself definitely does not feel cheap. It feels like a nice premium product. I love the fact that it does have a built-in screen on it, so if you need to review the videos without the use of your phone, you can do that, but you can also use your phone as well, which makes everything a lot easier to see. It's got a ton of great features. I do love the fact that it does store all that information on the video in case you do need to use it for insurance purposes, and because the camera is modular, and if you don't want to use that in-cabin camera, you can take it off, and I'm sure if something goes wrong with it, you can always easily replace it instead of having to replace the whole unit. I also love the fact that it is small and compact. It's out of the way. It doesn't obstruct my view at all when I'm driving, and there's no cables all over the place. Of course, you're going to have that one cable for your power and maybe the rear view camera if you need it, but it's easily concealed. For me, picture quality for these cameras is definitely #1. And I definitely do think that these cameras do put out a very nice clear picture, especially during the day when there's plenty of light. The picture is very crisp and clean. So if you're looking for the best quality possible, 4K is definitely the way to go. So in case you were wondering if their camera records all of the pictures into one file like it's seen on the display, don't worry, because the camera records each individual camera in its own separate file. So when you go play back the file, you pick which file you want to watch, whether it be the front camera, the in-cabin, or the rear. It's its own file. It's nice and big. You don't have to worry about the camera jumbling all the cameras up into one picture. Everything's separated. Now again, as I said, I will be putting a link in the description in case you guys want to pick this up yourself. And if you guys like me and you want to support my channel, please use those links because it helps me keep purchasing products to do reviews for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell to let you guys know when I put out new videos. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Later.